deal with airplane peanuts.
Do you have any favorite memories or funny stories from your time working that stage?
Wow. Well, let's see. I remember New Year's Eve one night. It was me, Dan Soder, Michelle Wolf, Gary Veter, Sam Morrill, Joe. It was like a great group. And Michelle Wolf got so drunk she blacked out, and I think fell asleep in the green room. That was fun. I remember watching I saw Bill Burr there, and he did that special. I can't remember what the name of it is. Maybe Let It Go. But it was sold out. It was before he was huge, and he sold it out. And me and Nate Bargatze went to watch, and it was unreal. He did the whole bit about Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's like, this guy's been killing. He married a Kennedy. He was Mr. Universe. Then he became the governor of a state he can't even pronounce. I can't remember the special that was on, but I got to see it. I got to see his rise. I saw Paul Mooney there. I saw Doug Stanhope there. And he saw Dave Attell in the back, and he goes, Dave, what are you doing here? And Dave Attell goes, well, I heard a white voice coming out of Caroline, so I had to see who it was. They were booking a lot of black acts at the time. Yeah. So, Dave's the funniest guy on the planet. So, yeah, so many great memories. I hooked up with a waitress there years ago. Good times. Good times.
Do you remember any specific times where someone really got you good with a chirp?
I mean, I remember when an entire crowd got me good with a chirp. So I played junior college basketball, which can either be high level or really low level. It kind of depends where you play. Mm-hmm. We ended up being a pretty serious team that played against Division I, guys that couldn't. They had 40s on their SATs. Right. So they couldn't go play anywhere, but they were athletic freaks. And we played Sullivan County Community College in upstate New York. It's an hour and a half outside of the city. And the entire room, I was one of two white people in the entire 500 plus sat for whatever reason. Community college games were the shit in this town. We never got crowds like that at our home gym, but for whatever reason, this was the social event of the evening.
That's hilarious.
Their entire campus packed into this gym. And again, I'm used to this. I played hoops my entire life, so that never bothered me before at all. But this entire crowd, as if they got together beforehand, every time I touched the ball, chanted cracker. So literally 500 strong. Every time I touched the ball, we're just cracker, cracker.
Holy
and this is
shit.
This is not even the end, dude. So this is back when I had, a ton of self-confidence, before life has truly kicked me in the teeth. and I thought anything could go wrong.
Yeah, you're still balling.
Yeah, exactly. I had that mentality. So my first shot, I put up no problem. I put up my first shot probably 2 or 3 minutes into the game, several cracker chants later, and I just drill a perfect swing pass from the top of the key 3, and I look into the crowd because they're only sat on one side, and it's just 500 wall of people. And I look, and I kind of hustle down, and I grab my nuts at the whole crowd, a slight kind of grab of my nuts.
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, and they're just silent. And then after, it probably was 2 beats, 3 beats, but it felt like a minute. It's totally silent. Some guy goes, probably the first shot you ever hit, faggot. And the entire place erupted in cheers. And I was just my soul, Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat touched down and put his hand on my shoulder.
There's
my
no
soul
coming
was
back
sucked
from
out.
that.
Nothing. I didn't score for the rest of the game.
You gotta check out. You gotta ask for a sub. That's hilarious, dude. That's so funny when there's a silence and you can have a whole captive audience in public like that.
And even with doing really edgy, I don't like to be filtered. I like to make fucked up jokes. I like to make political jokes. I have a podcast called Pier 69. We push it sometimes, and I think people get it. But you even have to be careful. Sometimes you make a joke and you're like, "Oh, that's edgy," and then people are like, "I fucking love that," and you're like, "Whoa, I was kidding," and I feel like you like it too much, and it's weirding me out.
That's funny. That's like a Big J Ogerson joke. He had a joke where he's like, it would be weird for me if I was saying racist jokes and everyone in the crowd wasn't laughing, if they were just nodding their head yep. I'd be like, what?
This is not a political rally. We're just comedy. You're pushing on the edge. It's funny to say the wrong thing even when you know it's wrong.
How did the kissing thing start?
Well, they realized that I'll just tell them anything they want to hear, and then they started asking me about my love life, and then I was like, well, like I'm trying to, fuck comedians, and then they're like, because that's who I'm around all the time, and then they're like, let's bring one out, and then they were like, is she here? And then they're like, yeah, she's here, and then like she was sort of like, oh, gross. He's the worst. I hate him. And then they're like, does anyone want to kiss him to like kind of balance out the fact that she was clearly not attracted to me. And then that girl kissed me. And then like every week, Tommy was like, is it okay if I do that every week? Some people are weird about their moms watching or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't live my life in a way that my mom, like she's not like the one person that I'm trying to impress. I kind of need to live my life. So, but yeah, I mean, he started doing it every week, and it was fun. And then people stopped wanting to kiss me for whatever reason.
Maybe because they saw the 30 other ones beforehand.
Yeah.
I always wondered as a Bills fan if it's a touchy subject.
No. I love OJ. I say, it's a shame what happened to Nicole and Ron, but I mean, the man ran 2,000 yards in a season. So
Yeah. Heisman. Yeah.
He's still up on our wall of fame, actually.
Juice is
in the
loose.
stadium.
Yeah, he still has the bust up in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but I didn't know he was still in the stadium.
Yeah. I'm sure we're supposed to get a new one in 2026 here coming up, so
yeah,
I'm sure his name will like be forgotten in the move. I'm gonna guess that right now. I'm making
just
that
lost
call, but
lost along the way.
Yeah, people love OJ, but if you go to the Bills Stadium, you'll see a ton of OJ jerseys.
That's crazy, because if you think about that compared to like how they did Joe Pa when all that went down, taking down the stats, just erasing him from history basically. And
that was more the institution than it was like. Think about what happened when they did do that. When they fired him, there was like riots as if George Floyd was murdered. It was
That's
crazy.
true.
You know what I mean?
True.
So it was like bananas. So I mean, that's kind of how Bills fans are. We're like, it's a shame he murdered those people, but he's still best Buffalo Bill of all time. Maybe
that's true. That's the white person's George Floyd is Joe Paterno's statue being removed.
They're not missing too much, but there's not over much.
Yeah. Did you do comedy in Ohio?
Yeah, in Cleveland. Did hilarities a few times, and then
great club.
Yeah,
really good club. I performed there in 2016. I did a weekend, and I was staying at the hotel right across the way downtown. And on Sunday, there was a note slipped under my door that says, "The RNC starts tomorrow. All hotels are sold out in the whole region for the week. You cannot extend your stay. You must you must be out of your room.
Evacuate the premise."
I was like, that is the most Republican thing you could have done. I also learned this about that week when the RNC comes to town. All of the bars get to extend their closing hour to 4 because there's so much partying and coke and drinking.
Wow.
And apparently it is busy season for male prostitutes. I mean, for female prostitutes too. But there's a lot of like, Lindsey Graham types. They're like, I'm going to have me a little feast tonight.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never would have thought that. I would have thought these were some old dudes that were boring as fuck. And
that's what they'd love you to think.
Yeah. They're doing a great job.
Listen, I'm sure Democrats party real hard too, but we're just not as fun as Republicans.
The only thing I remember from being there during that time was the year that the Cavs won the NBA Finals, and I was at the watch party in Game 7 when they came back from that 1-3 lead. One of the greatest nights of my life and greatest accomplishments that I've ever had was watching my team win that championship. But I was in the...
Everyone gets hand jobs tonight.
Oh, everyone gets hand jobs. That was the second busiest time for male prostitutes. Dude, there was just recently, there was some kid at a carnival that was like over the weight limit.
Yeah, that was in Orlando.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he died.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
that
crazy.
was fucked. Yeah, no, like they didn't put his harness on correctly, or it just, I don't know exactly what happened, but I saw the video of it, which is horrible. Don't watch the video of it.
All right, we're
harrowing.
putting the video in right now.
And we're going to take a quick break to watch
the video.
Link in the description. If you want to see the fun spot death. Yeah, that's your new compilation series on Joke World.
Yeah. Fat kids fall to their death.
Is people dying.
Yeah.
Dude, fuck all this like stand-up comics talk about
We're going a new direction.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
What we're doing now is compilations.
Now that I have this audience hostage.
Yeah, you've garnered enough subscribers that you can show them the content that you want out there. Yeah, dude, welcome to the Live League podcast.
It's literally half of what your mom's house is.
That's true. That is literally your mom's house. They should. It's just Segura giggling at ISIS beheading videos.
Yeah.
He's like, "Is this funny?
Did you like this?
Yeah. This is what I laugh at. It's ISIS beheading."
Neil Brennan's like throwing up. He's like, "Did you like
dude, this is good stuff." Danny Brown's cackling at some kid falling off a fucking zip line or whatever the hell.
Having some perspective on it, it was pretty nuts. Just any night of the week, it'll be like Burr, Sebastian, Segura, Rogan, and then me. So what's interesting is like I'm on those lineups just like nobody. It's bizarre because you may be a good comedian, but when nobody knows who you are, it's a different thing. Like then you have Joey Diaz as well, because these guys are like great comedians and people know who they are. So then it was fun and I enjoyed those times and everything, but I have noticed a little difference where now I feel like because it is not so star heavy, like there still are, but it's not the fucking insanity that it was.
Right.
I feel like me and some other comedians are able to kind of, our signal is able to reach audiences a little more.
That makes sense.
Because the gravitational pull of Rogan is like so big, or like Burr, or people who are so, when it was that stacked, even if you're a funny comedian, if you're unknown, it's hard to cut through that noise.
Yeah.
And I found like in this new era, it's been a little easier for me to cut through the noise.
Yeah. And it's not even like we're saying like known, but people like Bill Burr and Joe and Theo and Joey Diaz, these are people that like fans know, but there's people that are obsessed with them, like not even like just regular fans. They have like super like crazy fans that almost like they could go to the store, see those guys, and then still be, you know, in awe that they just saw Joey Diaz while you're on stage. All they're thinking about is, I can't remember when Joey Diaz said that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like and we're like two different frequencies. Like I love Joey, but like we're like different. If you're in, it's like Metallica's a great band and then so is Michael Jackson. Like there's not a ton of crossover.
Yeah.
And sometimes that happens with comedy, where if you have an act that is a certain type of frequency that 80% of the crowd is there for, even though you have your own thing and merit, it's going to be hard to kind of like get into the hearts of that other 80%.
I'd say Joey Diaz does not have a lot of frequency similarities with anyone. Like I
think he cuts through a lot of frequencies though. I think no matter who you are, it's just like a whirlwind and you gotta enjoy it.
We don't have to talk about the Columbia thing, but when you went on Joe Rogan, which is a podcast, I just said Joe Rogan's a podcast. Obviously that's a podcast that's very big. And was there any nerves? I mean, you were a little less established than you are now just because that's how years work and time. So like, was it like nervous going in there? Like the
only thing I was nervous about was smoking his weed. I'm glad he didn't offer, because I definitely would have said yes, and then that shit would have gone off the rails, because I got a fairly light tolerance when it comes to like famous people weed.
But you got to say yes.
But luckily he didn't offer. So I didn't have to indulge.
Was he smoking?
I don't think so. I don't think he was. No, he wasn't.
That'd be kind of weird, I guess, if he was.
Yeah, no, that would have been strange.
What do you get excited for nowadays, doing it 15 years? Is every time you go on stage still the same pop internally, or like what do you seek out now?
I get to do college shows. Those are fun for me because they pay you a lot of money and you get to travel somewhere and just do like one show. So that's nice. I like those because those are easy, fun gigs.
Do you ever meet any local whores?
Of course.
Nice.
But I got excited for doing shows with like big names who I'm a fan of. Yeah. Like you saw me at Big J, right?
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Yeah, he saw me open for Big J. That was my 4th weekend with Big J. And I got excited working with people I'm fans of. I mean, I've gotten to work with a lot of my heroes over the years, like Anthony Jeselnik, Doug Stanhope, Nick Swardson. Kevin Nealon recently. But yeah, just a list of Pablo Francisco was like the first person I ever got to open up for, and I was such a huge fan of his. But yeah, like I've gotten to work with most of my heroes, and it's been pretty cool.
Has there ever been a time where it's like, don't meet your heroes? They really let you down?
And I can't talk about it, but there was a hero who took me on the road with him, and he just was a complete psychopath.
Really?
And just a wild drunk, and just abusive to me verbally.
Wow.
In general, just really mean. And it broke my heart because I was a huge fan.
Yeah.
And I grew up watching him on TV, loving him. And then to have him just be mean to me for no reason,
wow.
too. It was all his own, like, drunken delusion. So that was a shame. And, you know, and I've tried to mend it with him, and there's been opportunities, but he just seems to refuse to want to have any relationship with me.
It was Bert Kreischer.
No.
Were you there around the time that the Dave Chappelle thing happened?
I was there after. I wasn't there at the same time, but the security really got heightened after that. In fact, even I had my own personal security guard Netflix had for me. So at all my shows, they came to my show, they stayed until I left.
That's pretty cool. That's a good response.
Yeah, when I left the venue, they left, but they stayed. Even I did a show on Friday, and then I got asked to do a second show, and the security guard stayed.
Wow.
So I felt like it was really unnecessary. I feel like I could use an attack on stage. I could use the press. That'd be fine for me.
That sucks.
You know, I mean, I heard Chris Rock's sales went up really big when he got slapped. I mean, I would take a slap for up in the ticket sales, you know?
So you heard it here first.
I've been slapped for no money before.
That's a good way to think about it. If anyone out there is at Dusty's next few shows and is feeling bold, he welcomes a slap.
Yeah, in fact, I've never got paid for getting punched. You know, I've been punched many times, and it's always for free.
It goes on and on. Let me give the proper credit here. Uploaded to YouTube at Joke World. That's who did it. At Joke World. And the world is WRLD. He cut this for over like 4 minutes.
I love it, and he really overlapped your reactions to like, it's so good.
Yeah, it always amazes me because the amount of time it must take to do this.
Thank you to all the comedians who were guests on the Joke World podcast this past year, and also thank you to all the viewers and subscribers who made the show possible. Please let me know in the comments who you'd like us to interview going into 2023. Goodbye.
God love you. You're a mensch, and if I was gay, I'd blow you.
Same here.